Welcome. I'm Doris. I work at Tallinn University as a senior marketing specialist. Today, we're going to tell you about Tallinn University overall, about our study programs, admission requirements, and, of course, student life. But first of all, where is Tallinn University? We're located in Estonia. Estonia is a really small country in Europe. As you can see on the map, our neighboring countries are Latvia, Russia, and across the bay, Finland. As I said, we are a small country. The area is only a bit more than 45,000 square kilometers. The capital city is Tallinn, so we are located in the capital city. The population of Estonia is only 1.3 million people. The currency here we use is euro. The language is of course Estonian, but no worries. English is widely spoken as well Russian. We are the member of EU, Schengen area and NATO. And we are a e-society. We have, honestly, Wi-Fi access almost everywhere. We have here e-voting, e-residency, name it. But about Tallinn University. We are the largest University of Humanities and Social Sciences in Tallinn and the third biggest public university in Estonia. Tallinn University was established in 2005 and named as Tallinn University, but actually the history of the university dates back even to the beginning of the 20th century. But in 2005, different units that were in Tallinn were merged into one and named as Tallinn University. What's interesting about the university is that we have the longest traditions of teacher training, yet one of the most modern film and media schools that exist side by side. At the moment, we are located in TV studio, for example. Our university has unique, innovative and interdisciplinary programs. Interdisciplinary means across disciplines. Later on, you're going to hear about the study programs. We have a new campus in the city center. Everything is close by. The harbor is close by, airport, bus station, the old town that belongs to the UNESCO heritage is close by, and we even have a branch in Helsinki where we teach law. We have prominent scientists and lecturers. All our professors are really experts in their field. We rank in world top 250 in sociology studies. We believe in individual approach to students. By that I mean our courses are rather small, so the students always can approach the professor, discuss different matters with the professors, with the course mates. And here we have a creative and free environment. We have 5 broad focus fields at the university. So all the research, everything, all the teaching is done in those 5 broad focus fields, which are healthy and sustainable lifestyle, society and open governance, digital and media culture, educational innovation, and cultural competences. Of course, what's important, the university is student life as well. We have about 7,500 students studying with us, among whom around 900 are international students. About the student life, we have here different organizations. We have our own cafe, photo club, sports clubs, basketball, volleyball club, culture club, international club that organizes events for international students, ESN for exchange students, even our own childcare. And you as a student, of course, can always take part of different events the organizations organize or be part of the clubs. Additionally to the degree programs, we offer short courses here. One option to participate in our short courses is International Summer School. The summer school will take place in July from 9th to 27th. There are about 25 different courses in various fields, language courses, creative courses, different workshops, etc. And a lot of the courses are connected to our degree programs as well. During the summer school, we have here around 300 participants. About 85% are from foreign countries. We also offer scholarships in our summer school. And last but not least, of course, what we offer is exciting cultural program. So the participants can visit museums in Tallinn, go to field trips outside of Tallinn to discover Estonia. If you're interested in the short courses, you can go to summerschool.tlu.ee and register to a course you like the most. Counterpart is International Winter School. The winter school will take place in January to 7 to 25, 2019. There are about 5 to 7 different courses, but of course, cultural program. You can read more at winterschool.tlu.ee. But how does the campus here look like? What I suggest you to do is to visit our virtual tour at virtualtour.tlu.ee. There you can go and look around and see what kind of cool rooms and facilities we have here. So now about the general admission requirements. Step 1. What's really important, you need to apply online at estonia.dreamapply.com. Then you need to submit the written part of the admission exam. You can see it from the program-specific requirements. Then you need to pay the application fee, which is 80 euros. Also, please check country-specific requirements at tlu.ee/country-specific. In case you're not able to submit your documents by the requested deadline, then please contact our admission specialist at admissions@tlu.ee and discuss with them what are the options. Step 2. You need to prove your English proficiency if you want to study here. You need to have English at least on B2 level. You can prove your English with well-known tests as IELTS, TOEFL, Cambridge exam and so on, or you can do the Tallinn University English language exam as well. But please go to our website and read more about the English proficiency. There are as well some things you need to keep in mind according to country. Step 3. Wait for initial feedback from the admission specialist. If the documents are sufficient and you receive a positive feedback from the written part, you will be asked to do the admission interview via Skype, so no need to come to Estonia for that, of course. If everything is okay, you are asked to send by post your application cover from DreamApply and required educational documents. And then, if everything is okay, a successful candidate will be informed by the positive decision via online application system. But now, what's really important, the deadlines. For non-EU EEA applicants, except now the applicants from Turkey, Russia, Ukraine and Georgia, the deadline from submitting the application online is 1st of April, but sending your documents by post is 20th of April. So keep in mind those deadlines. Now applicants from Turkey, Russia, Ukraine and Georgia, the deadline for submitting application is 1st of June and sending your documents by post 20th of June. For EU EEA citizens, you have a bit more time. Submitting your application is 1st of July and sending documents by post 15th of July. And now, for Finnish and Latvian citizens who have obtained general secondary education in Finland or in Latvia for BA level programs, except now the audiovisual media program, the deadline for submitting application is 15th of August and sending your documents 24th of August. And when does the study start? For our international students, it's really important the last week of August, which is the orientation week. There you can get all the information about studying here, about our study systems and so on. And the studies start in the first week of September.
Hi, my name is Philip Graves, and I'm a lecturer of private law here at Tallinn University. And I'm going to take a bit of my time today to spend with you and talk about the Law Bachelor's of Arts program that we offer, taught entirely in English. So a bit of an overview of the program. The duration is 3 years. It's 180 ECTS points. The tuition is 2,176 euros per semester. And the program is focused on international and European law. And we also offer a module in Finnish law that's offered in Finland. So a bit about why you should choose the program. If you're interested in studying law and learning how law touches and impacts our daily lives, how disputes are settled, how society is ordered, how rights are respected by the society, how any sort of dispute is adjudicated in a court of law, then you should think about looking at studying law with us here at Tallinn University, especially in the era of an increasingly globalized world and a nexus between the various legal systems. We offer a program that's really innovative and forward-looking and addresses the challenges that lawyers will need to face tomorrow. And so we prepare you for that. Our programs offered in the English language, totally taught in the English languages. And as I stated earlier, we focus on international and European law. We also offer the possibility to study Finnish law in Helsinki, and that program is focused on the basics of the Finnish domestic legal system. Courses such as Finnish contract law, Finnish constitutional law, Finnish criminal law. This is covered in detail in that program. Now, our program looks at and encompasses both the theoretical and the practical aspects of the legal profession. Right? You will study and you will learn from us, with us, studying under practicing lawyers, judges, lawmakers, that is members of parliament, and business consultants, and also pure academics, very well-known scholars in the legal profession that are known internationally. So we have the combination here, a very good combination of the theoretical and the practical that we cover here. What this program will prepare you to do is to become a lawyer, right? Become a lawyer, but not only a lawyer working either in private or public law, that is a lawyer working for the state, such as a state prosecutor, or a private lawyer working for private clients, but also a lawmaker, members of parliament, members of the European Union Parliament, members of the European Commission. A lot of these members have their background in law and were lawyers prior to assuming a career in the in governance. Also, advocates for causes, such as working for an NGO, working for, say, Greenpeace, human rights organizations, as well as students who desire a career in business. A lot of businesses hire lawyers to work in-house, right? These lawyers don't necessarily go to court. This is the litigator that goes to court on behalf of the business, but these lawyers working in the business activities are working in transactional law, that is drafting contracts, drafting agreements, licensing agreements, IP issues, and things of this nature. So the best thing about law is you learn the rules of the game. It's like if you look at society, right? Society is ordered around a certain set of rules, certain things we can do, certain things we can't do. Just like if you play the game of chess, the queen moves a certain way, the rook moves a certain way, the knight moves a certain way. Once you master the game, that is mastering the rules, you can master that game. You can play the game with expertise. And this is what the study of law prepares you to do. So it touches all areas of our daily lives, right? Whether it's interactions between individuals, interactions between individuals and the state, interactions between individuals and commercial entities, and also those fundamental rights that we all enjoy by virtue of being human, right? So we learn how to master those rules and to prepare you to represent clients and prepare you to represent business interests should you need to. So what about our students? I can say our students is a mixture. We have students coming straight from high school, and we also have students that's already attained a bachelor's degree and some even with a master's degree that are studying with us. Also, our students come from around the world. We have students here in Estonia, students from Finland, students from the United States, students from Canada, students from Turkey, Russia, Germany, you name it, we have people from all over here. So it's a very diverse and international student body, and that's a very strong point of our curriculum. Now I want to talk a little bit about our curriculum overview, what you'll learn should you come study with us. We begin with looking at the university-wide courses. We start you off the first semester, with a course entitled Studying and Learning at the University. And that course covers the basics of how to write academically. What is an academic source? We also go through an overview of the legal profession, what your career opportunities are after you graduate, and how to prepare for that. And so much more is covered in that course. Then in the third year of studies, you will participate in an interdisciplinary project. That is where you're paired up with students from other disciplines, such as the Baltic Film and Media School, such as the Humanities Institute. And you work there on an interdisciplinary project like you would in the real world. Lawyers work in the real world with people from other disciplines, with other professions to solve a problem. And we also start you off the first semester taking critical thinking. This is a philosophy course that challenges you to think critically and analyze logically factual situations. Then we move into the curriculum courses that are part of the School of Governance, Law, and Society, and that is Entrepreneurship and Economy, State Politics and Governance, and Society and Law. So we have a good overview of the economy, a good overview of entrepreneurship, the role of politics and the role of governance in society and law, the nexus of society and law. Then we look at our law compulsory specialty courses, right? We have administrative, procedural, and enforcement law. This covers civil procedure. This covers administrative law, and this also covers enforcement law. That is, when you have a judgment for a court, when you've won a dispute, how do you enforce that judgment? How do you enforce the judgment cross borders? Like you have a judgment from an Estonian court, how do you enforce it against the defendant who resides in Finland? This is covered in administrative, procedural, and enforcement law. We have logic and judicial argumentation, and this course is focused on legal writing and the art of legal writing and arguing before a court, right? How to structure your legal documents, how to develop your legal argumentation skills in a written form and in an oral form in front of a court. We also have a course called Social and Legal Philosophy, and this is where we look at the various areas of legal philosophy and social philosophy. We look at the theory of natural law as opposed to the theory of positive law or legal realism. Because to understand how we have evolved and developed as a society, we need to understand the history of where we came from, why certain laws are enacted, how did this natural progression take place. So we look at the classical philosophers and at legal philosophers in this course. We continue on with private international law and public international law. That is, the private international law is typically thought of as conflicts of law, right? If you have a client from Finland and you have a dispute with a person from Germany, what law will apply to govern that dispute? What law do you choose? In the United States, we would call this choice of law course. Then we have public international law. Here we talk about the role of international organizations and the public area of international law, which differs again from the private area. We have a course we're introducing this year called Sociology of Law. This is going to look at law in the legal profession and the sociological implications of that. That is, looking into the motivation of crimes, why criminals commit crimes, how we can use the law as a tool there to redress past wrongs and to look at new opportunities to further progress the society. Then we look at international arbitration and mediation. That is how disputes are settled outside of the court system, commercial arbitration, private mediation for family law. Then we get into Introduction to European Union Law, where you learn the basics of European institutional law. We round this out with comparative constitutional law, the law of business associations, international human rights law, and the principles of criminal law. This is our compulsory courses. This gives you a very good overview of the basics of the legal profession. We also include Civil Law 1 and Civil Law 2. Civil Law 1 is going to cover the law of contractual and non-contractual obligations. That is, how does one ascend to contract? What happens in the event of a breach of a contract or the event of a non-performance of the contract? And then how do we define damages under contract law? We also talk about non-contractual obligations, or as we call this in the United States, or common law, tort law, right? That is, private wrongs that are committed against one another that are not necessarily criminal, but in some cases they actually may be criminal as well and be subject to prosecution under criminal law. Then we cover Family Law 2, or Civil Law 2, which covers the basics of family law, property law, and the law of succession. That is, what happens when you become married, what happens when the marriage ends, with the division of property within the marital unit, and also succession. What happens to your property when you die, right? How is it distributed? What about your debts when you die? Then we have the law compulsory courses that end with a bachelor's thesis and practical training. Practical training is an excellent experience. Our students really enjoy this. This is where you go outside of the classroom after having completed 2 years of study with us and spend about 3 months working in a law firm, an intergovernmental organization, a non-governmental organization, or a transnational corporations, possibly even a parliament or some European institution, working there under the direction of a practicing lawyer, learning what the day-to-day work is like in the legal profession. We also have the bachelor's thesis you complete in your final semester. It's about 40 to 45 pages of actual content where you take a topical issue in law and do a research on it, try to form a hypothesis that you're going to try to prove or disprove, develop some legal questions around that, that through the research you will prove or disprove, and then you defend that before a committee of our professors. After you've taken all of our compulsory courses aside from the thesis and the practical training that are in the last year of studies, you'll choose one of two modules as your specialty. In Estonia and in Finland, we offer international and European law. And in Finland, we offer the basics of Finnish law, right? So we have all the domestic courses you will need in Finnish law. And with our international and European law module, we have a mixture of the basics of European law, such as European competition law, constitutional and administrative law, and the law of the internal market of the European Union. And international law is a mixture of public and private international. That is, we focus on topics such as international humanitarian law, that is, the rules of armed conflict, right? We talk about the International Criminal Court, and we also then talk about the private area of international law, mainly looking at international commercial law and international economic law. Then you have a choice to select 24 curriculum hours from law courses that are specific to fulfill your studies, right? And so these are chosen from topics such as intellectual property law, transnational criminal law, and legal theory, history and future of the EU. And so we have a total of 10 elective law courses. So you choose 24 hours from those 10. However, students that study in Helsinki must choose all of the law electives because that's the only electives we're currently offering in Helsinki. Additionally, to fulfill their curriculum, if you study with us here in Tallinn, you must choose 16 hours of open or university-wide electives. So if you want to take French or if you want to take Spanish or any other language, if you want to take something from the BFM, you're welcome to do that within those 16 hours. However, students that study in Helsinki, we only offer currently law electives. Last thing I want to do is talk a bit about our faculty, right? Our faculty is composed of international members coming from countries such as the United States. I'm from the U.S. We have a couple of other Americans that teach with us. Italy, Germany, Turkey, Finland, Estonia, China, just to name a few, right? So it's and again, the mixture and the professional background of our faculty varies, right? We have practicing lawyers, we have retired judges and practicing judges, lawmakers past and current members of parliament teaching with us, and well-known academics. So we have a very good mixture there. Again, that theoretical and the practical we bring to you should you come study with us. A bit about our admissions requirements. Well, one must comply with the university's general admission requirements, and that includes competence in the English language. Once you've looked into applying with us, you complete the application and submit the application. With the application, there is a specific essay that you must answer, right? A number of questions related to the legal profession, and that is scored. Once the score is assessed, we then schedule an interview where a member of the academic staff does a Skype interview or an in-person interview if you happen to be in Estonia on selected days. So in closing out, I'd just like to say we have a really good program. Our alumni have went on to attend master's studies at some of the top universities in Europe and have went on to very successful careers. So if you're up for the challenge, why don't you come by and visit us here in Estonia or send me an email. And look forward to seeing you all with us next year, or actually this year, in the autumn semester, next academic year, right, in October. So now I'm going to introduce my colleague, Katlin. She's going to talk a bit about international relations and the politics and governance. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Katlin Kerna. I'm a lecturer of international relations. Now, Philip told you about the law program, but if what you are interested in is actually politics or governance or international relations, then let me tell you about our program that deals with exactly those things. Now, first off, let's get started and talk about the very basics of the program. It is 3 years, so 6 semesters, 180 ECTS, 30 per semester. And you can see that it costs $16.50 per semester. Now, what does the program actually entail? Well, our program is aimed at people who are interested in the political side of society. Now, it doesn't mean that you will become a politician, though we have plenty of students who have exactly that interest. It might also mean that your future is in government or maybe in an NGO or in business. We'll take a look at that a bit later. But if you are just in general interested in politics or governance or maybe economics, then let's go through what we have to offer. Now, first off, before we even get to the actual courses, we have students from all over the world. We also have staff from all over the world, which means that the main thing you will get from our program, even without the courses, is a very international learning environment. Politics varies around the world, which means that, well, you need to get to know different perspectives, and we definitely have different perspectives. But what kind of courses are we teaching? Now, first off, a very big part of our program is already set, meaning that you will come and we will teach you the things we have decided to teach you. First off, we will start you with introducing you to the university, teaching you about how to research papers, how to write papers, how to do presentations in studying at university. Every class, more or less, especially in politics, needs philosophy. So critical thinking is part of the first semester. And then different courses from our institute. We will get you started with the basics of law, with the basics of economics, politics, European Union, and different kinds of political science courses. In general, during your 3 years, you will get to know all the basic political and administration courses that you need in order to graduate and continue your studies or go into the workforce. Still, it's not just the compulsory part that's important. What sets our program apart from many others is that you can design it yourself. As I said, not completely, but still a large part of it. In fact, we expect you to choose 2 out of our 4 modules. So let's take a look at these modules. First off, politics. If you are interested in elections, you want to know how the political systems work, how do people come up with different political ideologies, how they use these ideologies, then the politics module gives you exactly that information and gives you everything you need to know in that regard. Maybe you're more interested in the administration side of it. You want to know how, let's say, after the political decision is made, how it becomes a law. Who decides what? What about local governance? All of these issues will be discussed in the governance module. What if inside the country is actually not your main interest? You want to know the international level? Well, we have the international module to deal with foreign policies, security. We have all kinds of organization-related courses, diplomacy, everything you need to know in international relations. And in fact, we have an international relations master's program that then would follow. But what if all of this politics and governance talk isn't exactly what you are looking for? You don't mind it, you are interested, but you would mostly like to deal with economics. We have one module that deals with economics and management. So this module looks at taxation, looks at economic policy in a country, looks at management from different angles, and teaches you all these skills for your future, may it be in a master's program or elsewhere. All of these modules are taught by separate people who are experts in their fields. Besides the English master's program, we run other programs as well in Estonian master's programs and a PhD program. So the people you will meet during your studies are those people who also teach in those programs, meaning that they are experts in their field. Especially the international section, but also the other modules. The staff is not local. Well, some of them are, but they come from all over the world. We have Northern Americans, both Canada and United States. We have Europeans, and we also have people from elsewhere who contribute to our teaching. So you will meet different people in your classes, but you will also meet different people in your lectures as teachers. Besides these 4 modules, you get to choose a few other things. First off, during your studies, you are also expected to fulfill a module that is just general electives within the program. So if you are interested in, let's say, pursuing some more options, you want to maybe take 3 modules, or you want to take a little bit more courses that deal with maybe the local environment or political ideologies, or maybe one of the special courses we have on offer each year, depending on what the popular topics are, then you have to take a certain amount of those as well. The university also offers 16 credits of open electives that you can use to improve your language skills or start a new language like Estonian or Russian or French. But you can also use these to take more courses from the program. We welcome you to make whatever choices you need. In fact, we will help you make those choices based on your interests. Now, the program ends with a thesis. So how does one write a thesis? Well, we'll tell you that. In the beginning, you will have study at university, but over the next 3 years, you will also learn about research design. You will learn about qualitative and quantitative methods. So by the time the thesis comes around, you will be ready to write it. We will also help you find a supervisor and the topic that perfectly fits you. So what do you do afterwards? Well, this program is fairly new in its current form in English, but we've had this program for quite a long time in Estonian, so mostly our alumni come from there. But we've had similar programs before in English as well, so let me tell you what the alumni have done afterwards. Most common is to continue in a master's program, either in Estonia or somewhere else. We've had people go and continue their studies in universities all over the world. Quite often they go back home to their home countries, but not always. They might continue in Maastricht University. We've had students that continue their studies in Moscow or even in China, and they were not Chinese. So if they find something interesting during their bachelor's, our students have found a way to continue their studies in the country that helps them most. And that's why we also have all of these research skills taught, because we want you to excel in your master's program as well. But what if you don't want to go to a master's program, or you don't want to go there right away? We also have graduates who've continued after a bachelor's, either temporarily or long-term, in the workforce. So they continue working, they continue finding different jobs, and they have found jobs either in their home countries or in Estonia. And that's why we help you during your studies as well with practical training, so that when you graduate, yes, master's is recommended, but if you don't want to go for a master's, you will have the necessary skills to, well, cut it in the workforce. So as I said, in the program, we do have practical training as well. So when you graduate, you will have both the research skills and the practical skills to continue whatever you want to do. But what do people want to do afterwards? Well, as I said, people have gone to universities or they have worked, but where have they worked? Now, I have been a political scientist for the last, well, let's say very long time. And one of the most important questions that usually comes up in that field is, so what exactly will you become? I was asked this when I was still studying, and my students get asked this a lot, especially by grandmothers. So the question is, what will you become? As I said before, quite a few people want to become politicians. And we've had graduates who have done exactly that. But others have gone to work for their governments. Civil service is a very common goal. But not only that, business advisors, so working in the entrepreneurial world, or NGOs as political consultants, are all very popular options. And quite often, students also go and find a field that is very different for politics. But yet they still treasure their politics and governance education, because that gave them a wider view of the world that they can use in their new field. So in the end, I don't really have an answer for you, grandma, what you will become, but that is part of the program, that during those 3 years, we will help you find your way, find you something to do after you graduate. So in the end, when we take a look at the whole program, you can see that, well, we will give you the necessary skills, but also all kinds of different knowledge that help you continue in the field of politics and governance. But how to get in? Now, the university has general requirements for all bachelor students, so those must be fulfilled. We expect you to be interested in the field, but also, and that's very important, to have a high-level skill of English. And that, of course, makes sense. You have to understand what's going on, and a large part of our studies is also discussing with other students. So if you are a bit worried about that, don't be. Everybody is starting off. Most of our students speak English as a second language, and they thrive nonetheless. In fact, they're doing very well. So English requirement, general university requirements. Now what happens then is we would like you to answer some questions, write a motivation letter, and based on that, if everything goes well, we will be interviewed via Skype or in person in Tallinn. And after those are done and everything has gone splendidly, we expect to see you next year. And of course, if you apply now, the next year will be this fall. So I hope I've given you enough motivation for political science to take a look at our admissions, and I hope to see you all in the fall. Hello again. As you can see, I didn't go far. Now, if you are not really interested in political science or governance, and law maybe isn't for you either, but you are interested in social sciences in general, I would like to tell you about another program that we have. Once again, first let's take a look. Now, the program in question is Liberal Arts in Social Sciences. It lasts 3 years, 180 ECTS, and it is 1650 per semester, just like the Politics and Governance program. Now, this program isn't for any specific major, though you can build one. We'll take a look at that. But it is aimed at people who are interested in social sciences in general. So what does that mean? Is it something that you should look into? Now, our program is designed for two kinds of people, though others are welcome as well. And those two kinds are, first, those who are not yet sure what all of these social sciences are. When you hear the words demographics or sociology, then, or social policy, or you're not even sure what governance and politics really is, then this program might help you out. You feel that you're interested in society, that something to do with society would be your future, but you're not 100% sure which way to go, then this program will help you. We will introduce you to different disciplines and you can make up your mind. The other group that is also very interested in our program, we have quite a few students like that, tends to be those who are actually not looking for a specific major. They might already have a bachelor's degree. We've had quite a few students like this. They might not be interested in pursuing a master's in psychology or in sociology, but they also might. But what they really want from our program is a general overview of social sciences. And not just an overview, but also seeing the connections. Because all social sciences are connected between different fields, with different disciplines. And our program, interdisciplinary as it is, will connect these things. So what will our program look like for you for those 3 years? Now, the ancient Greek idea of liberal arts is that a person needs to know certain things. A person needs to know how to, well, speak, so oratory. They need to know a bit of philosophy. They need to know quite a few different things. Now, we don't really teach oratory specifically. We do teach presentations. And there is very little philosophy, though we do teach that as well. But we follow the idea that you need to know quite a few things to be a full citizen, to understand the world. And if you are interested in social sciences, then that's exactly what you want to be. You want to be knowledgeable about society and the world. So the main gist of our program is introducing you to different fields. We will get you started with politics, economics, law, We will introduce you to sociology, social work, demographics. We will go over project management skills. We will talk about different political and social problems in different countries and different regions. And we will also introduce you to courses that are outside our institute. So traditional social sciences like media, anthropology, and even just general societal studies. All of these things are part of the program, as well as teaching you research skills and project management skills. So you will get to know how to do research and how to manage your own future projects, how to connect those two ideas. Once again, different methodologies come into play as well. So after you graduate, you would still be ready to continue your master's in the field of your choice. Now, one part of our program is your own choices. In general, when we look at the program, most of this is compulsory. But through the electives and the open electives, and with a lot of different kinds of counseling sessions, we will go through what you want from the program, and we will choose the right courses for you. You will be making that choice. We will just help you. And during your courses, you were expected to find a way to do practical training. We will help you, but the actual field of practical training will be connected to what you personally want to research. So our students have done their practical training in very different fields. Some who are more interested in government work in the future have done their training there. Quite a few have done it in NGOs of various kinds, where they solve exactly those social problems that they have been worried about their whole lives. Well, probably not their whole lives, but at least long enough to remember. So during your studies, the main goal is to prep you for, well, your future in either a master's program or in the workforce. But also our program sets itself apart from others that we are more project-based. Besides the interdisciplinary project that all programs have, we also have the aforementioned project management course, and multiple other courses are actually project-based. In fact, by the end of your studies, your very final thing you do will not be a thesis, it will be a project. Though don't worry, the one before the last thing will be very thesis-like, a big research project that can be used as a thesis for master's admissions. But at the very end, we would like you to do a bachelor's exam in a project form, where you will be able to use all the skills and all of the knowledge that you have accumulated during your 3 years and work with others, because that is exactly what you will probably be doing after your bachelor's. Speaking of, what will you do after your bachelor's? Liberal arts in social sciences has been in Tallinn University for quite a few years. So we have a lot of alumni that we can use to tell you what they've done. Most of them have continued in master's programs all over the world. Though I have to say that many of them have taken a little bit of time off. My favorite example of a little bit of time off is a student who spent some time on the other side of the world in the Pacific Islands teaching English based on her liberal arts education. But they do continue mostly in master's programs in different universities. And the master's programs are usually connected to what major field they were interested in. So if they were very much interested in communication and took a lot of communication courses as their electives, then they have continued in that field. Some have found interest in politics, especially before the politics and governance program came into existence. So they took a lot of extra politics courses and now are studying or have already graduated from various master's programs that dealt with exactly that topic. Some have stayed in Estonia, some have gone back to their home countries, and some have, well, found some new places to live and some new things to do. In general, our graduates, those who have continued working, either temporarily or long-term, have found that the liberal arts education that gave them different ideas and also allowed them to choose their own major made it a bit easier, the choice in the end. That they knew quite a lot, but they also knew by then what they wanted to do. And so far, they've always all been successful in finding their future employment and their master's programs. So if you feel that this program is for you, then first of all, you should fit our general university admissions requirement. Once again, the English language comes into play and just general interest in the program. And like with others, then we would like you to write a motivational letter answering certain questions that deal with the field. And then based on that letter, we will organize an interview via Skype or in person. Hopefully, when everything works out, then we will see you in the fall. Or if you're not ready yet, you're still thinking, some other fall. So thank you for your time. And as Philip said earlier, if you feel you're up for the challenge or you want to try something new, and that new is in Tallinn University in our institute, we are happy to have you. And now I will give word back to Doris Piho, the admissions specialist.
So, you heard about the study program, but if you want to come and study here in Estonia, accommodation is really important, of course, as well. Tallinn University has its own dormitory. It's just around the corner of our main campus, and there are double rooms for the price of 150 euros. Here you can see a photo of the Tallinn University dormitory. There are two other dorms, G4S dormitory. There are double and single rooms for the price of 217 and 434 euros. And Deco dormitory, where there are double and single rooms as well for the price of 150 and 300 euros. Of course, what other students do, they rent an apartment as well by themselves, with their course mates, with their friends. And like in every city, the prices vary a lot. It depends on the location, on the apartment, and so on. Our students say that they can handle approximately with 300 up to 500 euros per month. That does not include the accommodation, of course. Here are just few examples of the prices we have here. Student meals, 3 up to 7 euros. The public transportation, it is free of charge for the residents of Tallinn. Theater tickets, 12 to 18. Concert tickets, 8 to 30, and so on. Just few examples for you. A lot of our applicants ask if they can work during the studies. The answer is yes, you can work, but you need to keep in mind that working cannot interfere your studies. You still need to complete the required credit points. If you want to know more about working in Estonia, you can go to workinestonia.com. But what next? Where to start now? First of all, of course, go to our webpage at tlu.ee/admissions, where you can see all the necessary information about the application procedure, English proficiency, read more about the study programs, and so on. In case you have any questions regarding the admission process, feel free to turn to our admission specialists at admissions@tlu.ee. They are more than happy to help. Another thing what I suggest you to do, if you want to know more about the student life here in Estonia, in Tallinn, at Tallinn University, you can always turn to our student ambassadors. Student ambassadors represent different countries, different programs. You can go to tlu.ee/ambassadors, and there you can find their contacts. You can write to them, ask any questions, and as well, they are more than happy to help and answer. Last but not least, I suggest you to follow us in social media to keep up with our latest doings. In Facebook, you can find us when you type in Tallinn University. And there is a group called Admissions 2018-2019. You can join the group and get information about this year's admission process there as well. But thank you from my side, and hopefully we will meet you in Tallinn.